Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. Not even going to do a retake on that one. It's been a long morning. I'm pretty tired. That being said, I still got a show to put on. I was originally actually going to do this week's Monday show not live, but I decided to do it live, so we're doing it live right now. So if we have time, we'll do Twitch questions at the end. But otherwise, man, I got to get some sleep tonight because we got 4.1 on Tuesday and I was up super early this morning, so I gotta make sure I sleep in real well tonight and I get to sleep real early tomorrow so I can be live as soon as 4.1 goes live. I either want to do on Wake Up, Return to Ivalice, or Shinryu. I don't know about Shinryu only because I don't know if there's going to be a group that has a melee spot open in Elysium. If not, I could always party finder it. I'm sure it'll get beat in the first, I don't know, 2-3 hours anyway, so we'll see what actually ends up going on with that, but I expect it to be done fairly quickly because I want the guide out for that on, like, Wednesday. I want it out ASAP. But anyway, that's what my plans are for this Tuesday, but I'm tired, so let's just get right into the questions, man. Okay, the questions look a little off-sized, but it looks like it's alright, whatever. Sup, Happy? With job balance changes coming in 4.1, do you feel that Square Enix is repeating the same mistake they did in the 3.x series? Double range is already very strong, machinist buffs on the way, seems like going down the same road. I don't think it's as dire as the 3.x series. The 3.x series had a lot worse issues in terms of job balance. If anything, I think the only job right now that is in kind of like a spot where it's like, oh man, they really need to do something, is Dark Knight. Because with Warrior Shake It Off change, Dark Knight kind of doesn't really fill the niche that they want it to fill anymore. Just because they're buffing that, I think they could use changes to Dark Passenger and Dark Mind in particular. And I'm sure there are some other things that they could do to improve the quality of play on Dark Knight overall. But with Mug having Brotherhood and with all the DPS kind of doing decent enough numbers, you can really run anything. The thing about meta is meta itself only ever matters to 1% of the player base. But a lot of people try to make it part of their rating experience kind of for no reason. A lot of people will say, oh, the reason we're not beating this fight is because we don't have the meta comp, when realistically it just means you're bad and you're making an excuse. That's the truth of it. If someone's trying to say, oh, the reason we're not beating this is because our comp isn't there, then it's just trying to cover up for poor play. The only people who realistically need a meta comp are people going for speed kills. So I think more people have gotten the hang of that idea, and so you see a lot more non-meta comps around, but there are definitely people who still try to enforce meta comp when it has absolutely no sort of effect on their play. And sometimes when doing progression, what's considered the meta comp isn't actually the best, you know, because you don't know exactly what you're going to be running into. Could have enemies that have vulnerabilities against magic damage only, or you could run into situations where you need bonus healing or other utilities that aren't just straight up damage. So there's, I'd say, yeah. Oh, and Ninja's OP. Ninja's always been OP. Yeah, my chat brought that up, and I was like, yeah, you know, Ninja's always been OP. As long as they have the enmity tools, they'll kind of be like the one always OP job, as far as I'm concerned. But that being said, 4.1 changes, the 1% buff is laughable. The Dragoon, it's not even really a buff, it's total, in terms of their skills outside of Life of the Dragon, it's a net potency nerf when they take away the 5% from Heavy Thrust, but with the additional Nastrons, it like basically almost evens out. It's just that they overbuff the hell out of Dragoon, and now Samurai, who's supposed to be this crazy strong DPS with no utility, is not doing enough DPS over the other jobs. So I'd say that that's really where the balance issue is right now, is overbuffing certain jobs sort of to make them stand out or to make them more attractive. And I get why they're doing that, but at the same time, it's gotten a little bit out of hand. And I don't think it's the exact same mistake. You should probably see a lot less meta comps than you did back in 3.x, where it was like, Paladin, ha, not playing with you. I think you'll still see people playing with Dark Knights. It's just, you know, people talk about it, and yes, there is a lack of balance there. All right, number 2. Hey, Haps, how you doing? I'm doing all right. You doing all right? I'm doing all right. For this week's bonus, you need to be able to skip Soar. Minimum item of 350. 350? Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You're memeing on the party finder. I got this. Know your role, DPS checks at every wipe. If you're not above 5.5k, you're banished. And seen in rage. Jokes aside, I have 2 interesting questions for you. 1, what do you not like about RPGs and MMOs today, seeing as you played a good amount? MMOs try... I don't know. With MMOs, it's like there's always something holding an MMO back. There's always one aspect about it just because it's trying to be something that has mass appeal. Even the more niche MMOs at least try to do things that are subject to mass appeal, but they don't always end up working out. So I'd say that if there's anything, regular RPGs, it doesn't, I can't really name anything because they're all so different. But for MMOs, there's always this desire to reach out to the primary MMO audience, but this lack of ability to retain them. And that usually ends up kind of being a detriment to the people who do stay dedicated because they're trying to raise their markets. I mean, businesses got to make money. But I feel like if you stick to a niche audience and really build on them, that's going to carry your game a lot further than trying to do mass appeal in terms of most MMOs that launch. Final Fantasy, luckily, has the Final Fantasy brand, so they're not as subject to needing to do that as much. 2, with how technology is progressing, do you ever think we'll see another technological leap in 14, like from A Realm Reborn to Heavensward? I mean, that was just DirectX 9 to adding DirectX 11, wasn't it? It's not really, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call it a leap. I would say that's more of a natural progression. And yeah, I mean, at some point, there's going to be some sort of a technical advancement, but realistically, the biggest technical leap you got was from 1.0 to 2.0 in that making a game that actually works most of the time. And that's not even a leap because they had to kind of pull back. They tried to make a leap with 1.0 and nothing, and it was so poorly optimized that it just didn't work at all. But I'd say that was more of a technological leap than A Realm Reborn to Heavensward, where they added DirectX 11 and a few stuff. But yeah, you'll see more stuff like that. It's just, I don't really know when to expect it or what to expect. I mean, DX12 is the next thing, but personally, I don't even care, because when I stream on high instead of maximum because it's just smoother more of the time. So I don't know. All right, number 3. Hey, Haps, how's things? I'm tired, man, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. No joke bonus, not because you complained last time. It's joke for flavor, but the simple reason of I got nothing this week. Thinking something up would take more time than I want to give. Listen, first of all, you're only supposed to do a bonus on the first question, and you're not even supposed to do it. People just started doing it, and they've rolled with it ever since. And I still don't even know when it actually started. Just one person said, I did that, and I was like, oh, that's cool, I like that. And then everyone's been doing it ever since. I don't even remember the origin of it, to be perfectly honest. So question number 1, been wondering for a while, why a Lala? So the Lala actually does have a story. Originally, I was a Rogadin, and then it changed to an Elizin. But at one point, I was supposed to be a judge for and I'm going to quote this, Lalafell cute contest. And I was like, all right, whatever, I'll participate. But they wanted me to be a Lalafell. I said, if you buy me Fantasias, one to change to a Lalafell, one to change back, I'll do it. And they did. They got me 5 Fantasias. I turned into a Lalafell. My girlfriend helped me make the character, and then I just gave him sideburns. And then they never did the contest. And now I just have like 7 Fantasias, but I don't want to move away from the Lalafell because me and my girlfriend designed it together. She did everything, and then I gave him sideburns. So I was like, whatever, I'll just keep it. I don't really feel like changing away from it. I don't really care about what race I play in the game, so it's whatever. It's whatever for me. 2, I should like Monk more than I do. I want to like Monk more than I do because I'm totally down with classes whose primary means of conflict resolution is I'm going to punch it really hard, and if it's not working, hit it harder, but I don't know, it's just not clicking for me. I got mine sitting at 50. So right now, none of the jobs I feel like really click at 50. It's just kind of a result of the reconsolidation of skills. Monk really doesn't come together until you have everything now. From 50 to 70, it doesn't really change all that much, but once you have Elixir Field, once you have Change Form, once you have Riddle of Fire, Brotherhood, then things really come together a whole lot better than at level 50. But at least the gameplay style doesn't change that much from 50 to 70. You just basically are adding in a few more cooldowns. So the only way to really try to advance the job more is to just do it. That's all there is to it. You just gotta, well, do it. Alright, so number 4. Hey guy, I have a Penta-melded i320 ornate set with grade 6 materia spell speed from a black mage. Whew. I also have all my other 320 gear set Penta-melded. Was all of this invested guild for meld to waste once I pick up 330 creation gear? Yeah. No, maybe not the 330 gear. Maybe closer to the 340 gear. But yeah, you're always going to go up in item level. So, I mean, to be fair, unless you're doing housing, there's not a whole lot else to spend guild on. So, you'll always have it. Yeah, I mean, even if we're not looking immediately to creation gear, I'm just looking at 4.2. You're going to replace it with an entirely new set in 4.2. It's, you know, you're just going to get another crafted set. So, yeah, it's the answer. That's it. All right, number 5. Hey, Mr. Happy, do you think they'll buff Sam? Yeah, you know, it's funny. We were just talking about this earlier. Yeah, I think they should. I don't even think it's a matter of will they. I think they should, to be honest. I think I was happy with where Samurai sat at the beginning of the expansion. I was like, they are absolutely doing enough DPS to warrant bringing them and not really feeling bad about not bringing utility. I don't feel that way anymore because they've been buffing the jobs to the point where the utility does outweigh what Samurai brings. To be fair, you can clear anything with any comp. I've done triple melees 04 Savage with Samurais, and it really doesn't matter for the content available now. If playing good should be meta, but I do feel that if that's the path they want to go with Samurai, I think the numbers should absolutely be higher. And I think with the other buffs they've done to other jobs, that Samurai and Black Mage both, actually, I feel like both deserve to be a little bit higher on the food chain than they are right now. But I don't know when and if they'll do it. All right, question number 6. Hello, Happy. I hope you have a good day and a good coffee. It's not the homemade coffee today, but you know what? It'll do. It struck me today that we don't have an in-game bestiary. Why? I want to take a look at those beautiful 3D models, so maybe if you feel like it, next time you have a chance to interview. I'm pretty sure they've been interviewed about doing in-game bestiaries before, and I think it's a matter of the sheer amount of data. Right now, if you want a bestiary, you pretty much have the lore book. And I do like in-game bestiaries, but I don't know, it's a lot. It would take a lot of time and effort to put that in. That's a lot of data that needs to get put into the game. It's already there technically, but creating the user interface to consolidate it and display it and everything, it probably could happen, but they'd probably have to work on it for a pretty long time if they wanted to get it working. I'm okay with it though. I mean, it's always cool to have an option like that, especially I'm thinking like as a guide creator, when you have a boss in there, even if I'm not saying that it should have the abilities, but even just having a 3D model to like display the boss is kind of just a nice thing to have in terms of guide creation. Even if you just want to like crop it and use it in something, it's a lot easier to do it through that. So maybe yeah, and maybe if you can only access it through the end. I'm pretty sure someone's brought it up before, but it's not a bad idea. All right, number 7, meow 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 meow. That's good morning in cat speech. So with 4.1, the legend returns. Is the legend part of the title referring to Ramsden Deleter, or it could be referring to something else? So patch titles in general never are just a reference to a singular event. They're usually either an inspiration, a combination of an inspiration from the dev team, or the overarching theme. Obviously, Raul and Alamigo is another place. Scala is a place of the past. You have Ramza and you have Delita, of course, and the legend of Ivalice itself, the return of Ivalice itself, which is a legendary Final Fantasy story and world that's existed for a long time. Yeah, honestly, you could even just consider the fact that Matsuno, who now runs his own company after he left Square Enix and during the development of Final Fantasy XII, he's a legend and he's returning. Like, it's got so many cross meanings that it's not just one thing. All right, number 8. Hey, Haps, I have 2 questions I'd like to ask. Just answering the first is fine if there's not enough time. One, I remember you doing some stuff to log in quick around Stormblood release to avoid long queues. Got any tips on how to do that? So, you can't really do anything to avoid queues other than be the fastest person to log in right when the server goes live. The thing that I do is the insert key acts as enter by default on most menus in Final Fantasy XIV, whether it be the lobby menus or the in-game menus. I use it to very quickly get through like a targeted NPC or to get through a menu really fast. So when I'm trying to log in, if there's any issues or there's like a long queue or something, or there's a queue that's sub 50 people that I can skip immediately, I usually spam the insert key to get in like that. Or if there's any sort of lobby connection issues, I can usually get through it like that as well. So that's it. I mean, that's it. Being first is the only way to have better odds. And I use the insert key to go fast, like Sanic. 2, could you recommend me a decent microphone or headset? Oh, I'm not going to go full solid mode. I don't have the energy for it. Headset, Arctis 357, Steel Series. Check below the stream. There's discount code. Sponsored by them, just so you know. But I'm only sponsored by them because I like them. We were only affiliated with them for a while, and then I really like them. So now we're sponsored by them. As for a decent microphone, there's a lot of them. I use an, what is this called? ATB USB. It's like it's ATB 2020 USB Plus or something like that. And it's pretty good. Unfortunately, it's not an XLR microphone. I would really like to get an XLR microphone. Well, he had one before, but it didn't work well. So it was the sound was all blown out. I don't know if it's just because I'm loud or not, but something that hooks up to a mixer and then combining it with a mixer is usually a good idea. So that's something to consider. You're not going to use it for streaming or YouTube. If you're not going to use it for streaming or YouTube, then you can probably just use a headset mic. You really don't need like a standing like a Blues Yeti or an ATB 2020 or anything like that. If you're not going to do recording or anything, you can probably just use a headset microphone and modify it on your computer with an in-app mixer or something like that. All right, number 9. Good day, Mr. Happy. Hope all is well. All is going swell. Thank you. I was wondering just how rare 2 character statics are. Oh, you mean like ones that use mains and alts. Okay, where half run on an alt and the other half is main. They're pretty rare. It's something that was a lot more prevalent when progression rating for things like Gordius and Midas, where it took weeks and weeks and weeks. For stuff like Creator and for Deltascape, where it's done in less than a week, it's a lot less effective. At that point, the main advantage becomes you gear up faster for Ultimate in 4.1. So after Ultimate comes out, you may see that trend evolve when 4.2 comes around, where more statics that are serious about Ultimate progression will start doing it to ensure they're best in slot by the time the next Ultimate tier comes out. That being said, it's comparatively to the number of groups out there, it's not very common. A lot of people, even if they have alts that they rate on, they don't do the main alt thing. So I wouldn't say it's frequent enough to really consider it mandatory that you do it in preparation of looking for a static, but if you are doing it, it will be valuable to more statics who you may consider joining who are already doing that later on. All right, number 10, greetings from the other side of the pond. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Apologies if this doesn't make sense. I've just got in from work and it's pretty much 5 a.m. Well, I'm glad I'm the first person you thought of when you got home. 2 questions for this week, and away we go. One, after watching Host of the Realm, you mentioned you need to make more time for yourself. I was just wondering if there's no way for you to announce you're suddenly taking a holiday. I mean, I could totally do that. It's not a matter of what I can or can't do. It's a matter of what I'm willing or not willing to do. And taking a long holiday is not something I'm very willing to do. Hell, I didn't stream yesterday, and I almost didn't stream today because looking to move back to Los Angeles because Mel doesn't like it in San Diego, and I don't really give a shit where we live. So I almost had to take 2 days off, and even that just puts me in like the lowest mood possible. So it really comes down to what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do, and a lot of the time I'm not willing to go many days without streaming. I can't stand it. Even when I'm at like conventions and stuff, I can't stand not being live or not producing content or not earning a living in some way almost every single day. Like, I feel like I have to do it. And 2, I'm excited about Summoner changes. I've been playing it a lot more recently, despite the clunkiness with the way some of the abilities work. I really do enjoy playing. My question is, you on the PlayStation 4, is there a way to merge the pet hotbar? Dude, I don't play on the PlayStation 4. The only time I use a controller is with is when I'm doing the Killerhackman series, which I actually recorded another part for yesterday, and I haven't uploaded it yet. So I don't know if someone in the comment section can help with that. I have no idea, like, all the inner workings of the cross hotbar. So I'm of no use to you on this question ultimately. All right, number 11. Hello, I'd like to ask some minimum item level questions as well as decisions going forward with my 4.x journey. Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that. So I'm not enjoying the story that much. I'm thinking power leveling through it so I can also sell quest rewards through PvP and rewards. It's better to be overpowered for things you don't enjoy in the game, or it'll just make me hate it more. I mean, I couldn't tell you. That's entirely up to the individual. Like, I can't tell you how to feel about that. That's all on you, man. That's not a... I can't tell you who to be. You do whatever you want to do. Many people say 4.x changes have made minimum item level fights impossible. Who? Who says that? Minimum item level fights are never impossible. They're just way harder. A4 normal I-170. That's a joke. No, whoever's telling you that is not good. How about that? That's my answer. No. Minimum item level fights are the same as they've always been. And some of them doing them sucks a little bit more because some jobs don't feel as fun to play at like 50 or 60, but they're not impossible. They're not. It's just you make do with what you got. And 3, what do I say instead of look at the guide to see what you're telling me to suggest what to do if there isn't there anymore? I'm not sure I understand this question. What do I say to myself? See, a lot of these questions are how should you feel? I can't tell you how to feel. That's it. That's all there is with all this. You just do it. You just stop asking so many questions and you just do it. Whatever's on your mind, you just do it. Just stop thinking so much. All right, number 12. Haps Reggie here. Have a returner bonus of a mighty double patty burger with bacon. No, I'm sorry. A double patty burger with bacon, caramelized red onions, diced turkey. I don't want turkey rash. Oh, mayonnaise? Stop it. Yeah, all right. You ruined the burger with the diced turkey rashes and mayonnaise at the end. It didn't need all that shit on there. You already got so much meat. And the LIT. It's just LIT. There's not 2 I's. Long Island's got a hyphen. Just treat it as 1 word, please. Or you can treat iced tea as 1 word. Either works. What do you do with videos that you make after you upload them? I delete them because now they're on YouTube, and if I need them again, I can just download the MP4. How do you think Blue Mage should be implemented? You know, I don't really do these questions because they're kind of irrelevant, and I've also done that question a lot. I've had that question a lot of times before, so I don't really do questions like that. And 3, Puppet Master for healer? No. Yoshi P even just straight up said, yeah, we're not even considering Puppet Master, so no. And definitely not. If Puppet Master was a healer, I'd be like, well, that's it. Dark Knight being a tank was fine by me, but now you've done fucked everything up. All All right, number 13. Hello, Mr. Happy. Not first time, just a bunch of well wishes for future success, and thanks for what you've done for the community. Thank you for the kind words. 3 quick questions, 1 14, 1 non-14, and 1 odd topic. All right. Haven't played Monk since Dunscaith launched. What is something you wish you knew at 60 that you know now that you're rating Monk at 70? Nothing, because the job functions mostly the same on Monk, but nothing, because a Monk of all jobs really hasn't changed much, going from 50 to 70, like I was saying earlier. So nothing, really, I'd say. I wish I had Riddle of Earth at level 60, but that's about that's about it if I'm thinking back to it. 2, a long time ago, you had a Charcat character on Guild Wars 2 that you played. Now they've launched their second expansion, the kid to be dusted off now. Dude, every time I play Guild Wars 2, it just reminds me how I hate their gear progression. There is none. It's pretty much all character progression and no gear progression. And it makes me feel like doing content just isn't... I don't enjoy it. Like, Path of Fire, I've heard is a lot better. I've heard that the encounters and everything are way better, and obviously you have the mounts now after all this time. But no, there's no chance of that Char getting dusted off anytime soon. And the odd question, State of the Realm question, with free companies being such a large source of interaction and benefits, what some leaders think of some mega FCs on the more populated servers. I don't really know that that's like a topic for a show, just talking about mega free companies. You know what I mean? I couldn't put together more than 10-15 minutes of that topic, so I don't think I could really put together a show on something like that. All right, number 14. All right. Imagine UHP offered you a full-time... See, you asked me this question before, so now you're... I feel like you asked me this... I feel like you said well-paid. Well, no, you just said paid. Now you're saying well-paid. I wouldn't take a job working on an MMO. Like, I would... If I was going to do any job on an MMO, it'd probably be community or level design. Those are the only 2 things I ever really did for MMOs. No. I wouldn't take it. It seems like such a miserable set of job roles compared to what I do now. And it also is nothing like what I do now, which is more community oriented. I'd rather stay in that department or like PR or something like that than work directly on that. Dude, it's the amount of trouble and hours and shit they go through. They don't get to have lives, man. They do not get to have lives, a lot of them. Foxconn does. Foxconn gets to have a life. I see him tweet all his food and dog adventures and stuff like that. But all the rest of them are like, dude, I got a family, but I don't see him. You know, that's what that's what it is. I don't want that life, man. That sounds like a miserable life. I don't want that, man. All right, number 15. Hey, Haps, how you doing this week? I'm doing all right. It's been a pretty good week for me. How you doing? You doing good? All right, you doing good. I haven't asked a question for 2 or 3 weeks. This one popped in my head last week to talk about SteelSeries headset. Hey, we talked about it this week too. Seeing as how you're sponsored by SteelSeries, would it be possible for you to convince them to make a SteelSeries headset called Cold Steel? I cannot believe this is a real question. The answer is no, but they do have the Arctis, which is technically Cold Steel. So, you know, Arctis, Steel Series, Cold Steel Series. No. All right, number 16. Hey, Mr. Happy, Final Sim here, and welcome to Mondays with Mr. Happy, aka Mr. Happy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and we ask you questions and you answer them. In regards to current job rankings, who is the best tank, healer, melee DPS, range DPS, and mage DPS? Talking about the meta. Well, the meta does. So if you're talking meta, the meta doesn't use mage DPS, and the melee DPS it uses are Ninja Dragoon, and the range DPS is Bard Machinist. That's the 4 DPS that you use for tanks: Paladin Warrior, healers, Astro Scholar. I mean, it's nice and simple, but like I said earlier, meta's more about playing well right now. And then it is. Red Mage is not meta for speed kills. For best for fast kills, Red Mage isn't involved. Astro's definitely involved. Paladin's definitely involved. Ninja's definitely involved. Bard's definitely involved. And then you have Machinist and Dragoon because they buff Dragoon to shit. They're not even, like I said before, they're not even buffing it now. They're just making it like easier for the less skilled players to do at least semi well on it. But it's crazy, man. That's all there is. You also only named. Oh, you named a job for Mage. I guess if I had to pick a Mage job, it'd probably be, I don't know, Red Mage is like the easiest to play. If I had to pick like a meta Mage job, so a lot of people just kind of default to it. But Summoner's really strong. It just doesn't have as many of the reses. It does have Contagion if you're not using Sick for it, and if you are using Sick for it, you still have Radiant Shield. And then Devotion, it might be 2% next patch, but at least you'll get to use it on everybody. So I'll wait to see how Summoner is after 4.1. But that's about it. All right, number 17. Hello, Mr. Happy. I don't want to repeat that last thing. Your haircuts have been very noticing. Anyway, I'll try to make this short so you can have more time for yourself. So I need your opinion. White Mage. It's currently good. It fixed a few issues. Lilies still are stupid. I miss the opener I used to have. Removing Fluidor's damage made me sad. If SE is not content giving us utility, why not just give us damage off Gs? Because they're not gonna deliberately offer you DPS off GCDs as White Mage, because that's not the fantasy they're trying to fulfill for you. White Mage's fantasy, and something it does incredibly well right now, is to be the power healer. When you're thinking of pure healing throughput, White Mage should be the king. And that's what it does, and that's what they're doing. So they don't really care. They're not trying to give you more DPS skills, pretty much. You've got Arrow 3, you've got Arrow 2, you've got your Stone 3. You don't have as many DPS abilities as the other jobs, but White Mage's personal DPS is still incredible, and Asai's also technically functions as both DPS and healing now, and you don't have to choose between one or the other. So that's pretty fantastic as well. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's kind of, it feels kind of weird not having Fluid Aura, but White Mage is already a really high DPS output healer as it is, so I don't think they need to give you more abilities just so you have that back. I don't think. These have been some weird questions this week, man. I was like, oh, these questions aren't looking too bad. And then, like, we got into a bunch of, like, questions that are, like, unanswerable, man. Hey, Haps, this is a very important question. I guess that's... After what I just said, I guess that's a pretty good way to get started on the next one. I was wondering if you knew, does Lakshmi have a lower half? I'm glad you told me it was a weird question. Because, yes. She probably has a lower half. We'll just go with that. Anyway, probably, let's hope this is not a question about Susano's lower half being too small because he skips leg day. Hey, Mr. Happy, first time here, so I have a bonus of never mentioning Blitzball. Damn it. Anyway, my friends and I recently got back into 14. I got to the end of Heaven's Word. They are playing other games right now, so I'm busy trying to pick a job to main. They get back and catch up. Problem is, I hate the lower levels. That's why you got the job skip potion. Oh, you've already used the job skip potion. So what are your options? Pals of the Dead. You named it right here, dude. Pals of the Dead. Pals, I mean, there are other things you can do. You can do Beast Tribe dailies and roulettes and just dungeon spam. You can do any of those things. You can do Fates even, as not great as that is before 60. But no, Pals of the Dead is your, or PvP. You could do PvP. The XP is not always great because you need to win in order to get the most XP, but that is another option if you're looking for something that's a little more, I guess, it's not the same every time you do it, except for Shatter, which is, Shatter. Feels Shatter, man. Feels Shatter, man. Yeah, PvP Palace of the Dead. Alright, number 20. Hi, Haps. I have a quick gold saucer question for the week. Great. Wouldn't it be better when the daily catalog gives you 10k reward automatically when you reveal 1, 2, 3 with the given tries? I mean, you just have to click one more thing to do it. But if you're dumb and you don't notice it, it makes for a hilarious situation because they don't automatically do it. So, no. Because it's funnier. Alright, that's the last question on the forums. Twitch, get your questions ready, because I'm going to need some good ones after some of these this week. Hello, Mr. Happy. As the group stage is... Oh, this is a league question, yes. As the group stage started in the first week is coming to an end, it's time for me to ask about your updated predictions. So, of the League World Championship, have you been enjoying the games? Did any team surprise you with their performance so far? Personally, I think it's been one of the most entertaining worlds and many close games that can go either way, and I'm surprised how well NA teams perform. And as you asked this question, TSM loses to Misfits. Let's be honest, TSM only lost to Misfits, so that way we could have hope of 2 Western teams getting out of Group D. It's just we have to hope that both teams can perform against WE next week, because they're also tied for first place in the group. So for the most part, it's going about the way I expected. I knew Fnatic got screwed, so I didn't expect them to go 0-3 in the first week, but I knew they got screwed out of possibly making out of that group. C9's doing really well. I did not think they were actually going to be 2-1 at the end of the week. TSM, even though they won their first 2 games, I didn't feel confident about them making it out of groups after I saw their Game 1 performance. Their Game 2 performance was better, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous for TSM after week 1. I don't think they're shooing to make it out of that group. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 0-3 next week, which is like the NA curse for League of Legends World Championships, is NA like losing every game on the second week. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen, to be honest, with the way TSM's playing. I don't think they're playing like a team that kind of deserves to go to the quarters. Meanwhile, Misfits kind of looks like they're overperforming in their group. I expected them to be 0-3, and it also looks like Flash Wolves is mega underperforming. And WE's performing about as expected, which is not that strong. EDG is probably the biggest surprise. It's not looking good. They're pretty much out. Like EDG, there's almost no chance that they go 3-0 in the next week to tie it up and then get into second place. I don't think it's gonna happen. So there's been a lot of surprises, but I don't know. I don't think it's been the most entertaining world. It's probably because I have to watch the rebroadcast and it's not as hype because it's on at like midnight to like 6 a.m. here, and I can't really enjoy it right when it's happening. But ultimately, let's be honest, NA teams ain't gonna make it past quarters, man. it's not looking good enough. And they might have the wins, but they're not looking strong enough. If anything, C9's the best chance of that. And with C9 ending second in their group, there's a heavy possibility they end up getting matched against the Korean team in the quarters, and they could maybe beat Samsung. I think SSG is the only Korean team that looks like if you get them, you could make it past quarters. But other than that, let's be honest, Cloud9's probably going to go up against one of the other two Korean teams, Longzhu or SSG. They're probably going to lose that. TSM's not a shoo-in to make it out. Immortals looks like they're probably going to make it out, so I don't know where they're going to end up. They might end up against Longzhu or... I forgot which group they're in, which Korean team is in their group. I think it's Is it SSG in Immortals group, or is it Longzhu? I think it might be Longzhu in their group. I don't remember right off the top of my head. That being said, at least I can root for the NA. At least I feel like I'll get to root for a Western team in the quarterfinals. I haven't been able to do that, and honestly feel good about it in about 2 years since Fnatic and Origin made it to semis. And last year was H2K, and they were up against a wild card that overperformed in groups and then got smashed in the semis. So it was whatever it was. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. The quarters will definitely be more interesting than the groups. I don't think the groups have been that fantastic, and I don't think it's defied expectations too much. But EDG underperforming, I mean, it's a meme for them for Worlds, but it's just like TSM's not making it out of groups meme. We'll see how it actually pans out. Week 2 should be interesting at the very least, as we do groups A, B, C, and D. What is that? October 11th, I believe that those that the rest of that actually those actually work. But anyway, that's gonna be the last question coming out of the forums. Twitch chat, get me some good questions, man, because some of those questions there's just so many unanswerable questions, or what do you think questions. So Twitch chat, give me something good. Twitch chat, come on. All right, so I've been hanging out with the chat for a few minutes here. I've been answering a bunch of questions, but I think this is the only question we're going to take from the Twitch chat and add into the YouTube portion of the video itself. So, Gigante asks, with 2 expansions under their belt, what would you like to see Square Enix do or improve upon the game going forward to both entice new players and retain current player base? So, as much as you like to hear a lot of us say that we get through the content too quick, we are the loudest minority, is what I've learned over all of the years of Final Fantasy XIV, is that there are actually hundreds of thousands of players that are perfectly content with the way the content progresses right now. Will they be forever? No. And am I? No. So I think the number one thing they need to stay consistent on is the things that we say, oh, they're just doing that again. They need to stay consistent on that. What needs to improve is the rate of turnover on the things that the hardcore people complain about. Because even though we are the minority, the people who are loud about stuff that either A, we don't like, B, it's not challenging enough, whatever. Even though we do affect the majority in some way. You know, when people hear stories from the more hardcore people about, like, you know, how quickly I got through this or all that, they make it their own opinion very, very frequently. And then they tell other people, and it goes on, even though the majority are staying quiet and are perfectly content with the way that the game produces its content every 3.5 months. And you know what? That's fine. I think those things should say the main story every month, you know, dungeon. And they're taking away dungeons because they're starting to work on other things, which are taking their resources, but they're new things that have to be developed from the ground up with new user interfaces and art and 3D modeling and all that other junk. So I think the rate of turnover on those things that keep us quiet are the things that we need to see kind of improve, because they've mastered the other stuff. You know, they've even added now the hidden canals of Uznair. You know, they focus primarily on casual content, and I think that is the right approach. I think you need to bridge the gap between casual and more hardcore with more middle of the road activities that you can repeat over and over again. I think squadrons are an okay way of adding more casual content. I think the beast tribes are fine, and a lot of stuff they do now is fine, and it's stuff I do, and it's stuff that has its rewards and has its meanings. But stuff like Eureka, you know, the major grind fests for those people that are middle of the road. They aren't hardcore enough to, like, raid however many times, or they're to clear the raids in a week, but they're also playing the game more frequently than a casual player. I think that's where they need to up their production value a little bit, is that right in the middle right there. And if they can do that, then the next expansion, they'll probably break the numbers that they had for this expansion. Right now, the game has the most subscribers it's ever had. That's more due to marketing, I feel, than it is necessarily the progression of their content, but it's numbers that matter. And ultimately, if they have over 800,000 active subscribers, and that's, you know, it says it's their highest of all time, that's what matters to them. And if they produce the content and those numbers don't stay strong, then they adjust it. And until those numbers aren't strong, they won't adjust it, because it's being successful, even if a lot of us in the minority are being louder about it. So that's where I really think it could improve the most. is right there in the middle. But even so, I still expect to not play the game for like a month, or not play it hardcore for like a month before a patch, or like a month and a half before a patch. Mostly because I also don't want to burn out on it myself, but because I'm going to consume the content faster than most other people. And even then, I still log in and do certain things for like an hour or two a day. So I feel like that's okay, but it could be improved. But anyway, that's going to be the only question I take from the Twitch chat for Mondays with MrHappy this week. Because there were a ton of questions and I answered them, but none of them just really felt like questions I should include in a Monday video. So anyway, thank you for watching this week's Mondays with MrHappy. If you have questions for next week, be sure to ask those below. The last thing we do have to do, though, is sponsors. It's been a long day, so I actually did almost forget about pulling up the sponsor list. So give me a second to do that right now. Mondays. Here we go. So, for the sponsors, for anyone who doesn't know, ever since YouTube started doing demonetization on a lot of videos, even if they're like just news-related videos, I know last week my patch notes got demonetized. I know my trailer analysis got demonetized and a whole bunch of other stuff, and then I have to wait days for them to get reviewed and shit. So we started a Patreon to counteract that, so that way I don't have to like hold videos to wait for them to be reviewed, because otherwise that has to happen because I make my living doing this shit. So everyone who, there's a Patreon with all the explanations below the stream, and we shout those people out every week. So for our standard sponsors, we have MrSynestrrr, we have Argoti, Fafarian, Rendil, Giraffeswillrule, and Stevie-Rex. For our elite sponsors, we have Valestra, Famfrit, Kurioshi, Ignis Fairgun, Goetia, Valefar, Jean-Francois, Themacholuis, Hersh, Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down Free Company on Goblin, Serren from Zodiark, and Renoit Chikara. Was Renoit Chikara? Yeah, that's elite. Okay. And for our premium sponsors, we have Obijal Shamsi, Sppyyke, NadienKirisame, Rudy Rudiger, TinColossus, Khuja Cross of the Jenova server, Kurenai Abdullah, Killerhackman, Raul Jr, Darklight2013, Arthur Ramil Gaming, Bishop, and Kiltastic Jones. So thank you. That list has been getting bigger and bigger every week. You guys are awesome for supporting the channel over there on Patreon. And I'll have your Patreon update this week as well. I didn't upload one like 3 weeks ago for anyone who doesn't actually follow me over on Patreon. But I've had one the last 2 weeks, and I will have one this week. So, on that note, I will see all of you fine, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube next week, where hopefully we'll have a bunch of questions about 4.1. Twitch chat, we're going to hang out for a few more minutes before I wrap things up for the day, so be sure to stick around. I will see all you fine, ladies and gentlemen, next week, and until then, take care.